All right, he's the co-founder and lead guitarist for Aerosmith, one of the most successful bands in music history. And now he's written his own memoir. Usually there's been a lot of books about the band and about him, but this is his book. It's called Rocks: My Life In and Out of Aerosmith. Joe Perry's here with us this morning.
Awesome, with that classic rock sound, and which is ever evolving too. Joe Perry, welcome to Good Day New York.
Thank you. It's
So
good to be here.
you wrote your own book. Is it like writing your own song, only longer, only like 400 pages longer?
Kinda. Yeah. Most of the lyrics I write are autobiographical. I mean, my inspiration comes from my personal experiences. Usually. Different eras of my life, but again, the book is it's the past 64 years. You know, it's my time in Aerosmith, but you know how I got there and all that, which was kind of a bit of a puzzle to me when I sat down to write it. You know, when I'm thinking about coming from the suburbs, a very small town. Not a musical background, and then wanting to be a marine biologist actually, and then all of a sudden getting grabbed by the back of the neck by rock and roll, and wasn't letting go.
What do the other band members think of the book so far? What's the advanced word?
So far, I heard from Joey, and he said he was really liking it. He was really working his way through it, and Stephen was about a third of the way through, and said that he was liking the pictures, and he thought it was really well done.
Oh, because I thought there was a problem that Stephen didn't like the book. I mean, you talked about your relationship with Stephen. I mean, the two of you call each other toxic twins.
Well, I never. You know what? That's one of the things why I wanted to write the book, because so many things have been told about the band. We've been around for so many years, and so many misquotes, so many different takes on different instances of that have happened, or like there'll be like a whole interview between Stephen and I, and we'll make a joke about, you know, the tensions between us, and that'll be taken as a serious thing here.
Right, but it's not.
And in some cases it can be, but it's an up and down thing. That is that saying, you can love your brother, but you don't have to like him. And you know, it's a family thing, and it's kind of up and down, and we've managed to figure out how to make that work.
By the way, forward by Johnny Depp. More about his relationship with you in a moment. All right, what's the worst thing about being a rock star that we're going to find out in this book? I know there are highs and lows. What's bad about the life?
Well, this book goes a little deeper than the usual sex, drugs, and rock and roll book. I mean, we've if you read any of these kind of books, or you know, VH1 actually had a show for a couple of seasons that just talked about that kind of a
behind the music
behind the music, and it's that part of the story's been told. It's not that it isn't in there. I mean, there's no denying we had our ups and downs with that, but it's deeper than that. And I think that one of the things that people will be surprised at is the amount of tension and the amount of effort that went to keeping the band together after we got sober, and all during the 80s and 90s, when we were arguably at the more successful than we were in the 70s.
Yeah, you talk about it in the book on page 290. You talk about how, like, you guys all got together because you were concerned about Steven Tyler, that you said he had a problem with his rage and he was flying off the handle, and maybe you would put together this letter that would kind of help him take a look at himself.
Right.
And was that like a defining moment in your being together as a group?
It was definitely part of of us realizing that we had given too much power to our manager at that point. And when we got back together, we had done something that, as far as I know, no other band had done. But like, getting one person cleaned up is one thing. Getting 5 people to do it is pretty amazing. And it took a couple of years for everybody to find their way. So we were doing something, and then having the success and writing the songs and having some #1 hits and selling out again and reclaiming our spot, you know, that we had lost in the 70s. So what we did with our manager, Collins, was pretty amazing at the beginning, but apparently we kind of went this way and he just kind of stayed there. I mean, we were getting healthy and he kind of stayed in the same place.
Where do you live?
Right now I live south of Boston.
South of Boston, and you're happily married, right?
Yeah, you bet. 30 years, and that's pretty amazing.
Let me ask you something. I know you say you're sober and everything, but I heard you had like the breakfast of champions backstage. Were you drinking a beer or something before you came on?
Non-alcoholic beer.
Non-alcoholic beer, near beer.
Interesting.
It's delicious.
Great specs.
It's Beck's, and it just kind of gets you. I mean, some people have coffee in the morning, right?
Well, it tastes like really good beer, and beer tastes good, you know. But you know, usually I have to have about 3 or 4 cups of coffee to get going.
To get you out of bed in the morning.
If you want to meet Joe Perry, you can. Let's go ahead and put that up on the screen, please. He'll sign your book. Go to the Barnes & Noble.
In Union Square.
Tonight, 7 to 9. That's a long time. You're going to have a lot of fans there tonight. Good stuff. Joe Perry. Oh, I'm sorry. And tomorrow night at Bookends in Ridgewood, New Jersey, another 2-hour jam session, if you will.
You know, this book is going to be sold out, don't you think?
I don't know. We'll see. I hope so. I mean, I'm really proud of the book. We worked 2 years on it, and it was a real effort.
The early years in here. When was your first guitar lesson?
Well, my first guitar lesson, I made a deal with my parents. If they got me a good quality guitar, I would take lessons. So I had a lesson from a local older man who was actually very.
How old were you then?
Flamingo. Probably 13 or 14, and I had one lesson, and then the next Thursday I was driving by on the school bus and asked to be dropped off at his house. There was a hearse in front of his house. And
that's kind of creepy.
As I went in, I found out that he had died of a heart attack the night before.
Did you find a new teacher?
And I didn't have a guitar lesson that day, and that was the last we talked about guitar lessons.
Wow, and that was all just you from that point on?
Well, yeah. I mean, I learned from the records like what most of the guys did back then, and
awesome.
A few of the friends, you know,
well,
played.
It's amazing to meet you, Joe Perry. The book is fascinating. Rocks my life in and out of Aerosmith. We'll put all the information on how you can meet him on our website, myfoxny.com.